Hello there, I'm Nadia Azmi and this is Nightline, the top stories. Error in Jalo Gemilang display, a serious matter of sovereignty. And Myanmar Junta opposition agree to extend ceasefire, says Prime Minister. Good morning. Any error involving the national flag should not be taken lightly, as it represents the sovereignty and stature of the country. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on Friday reminded all parties to exercise caution and avoid making careless errors when it comes to the Malaysian flag. The Prime Minister also stressed the importance of respecting the legal process in dealing with such matters.
Ya, untuk mana-mana negara pun ya, suap bendera itu simbol yang sangat penting. Jadi saya nasihatkan supaya kita berhati-hati ya. Tapi tentulah bagi ruang sencu bagi penjelasan atas kesilapan dan mohon maafnya. Tetapi ini bukan soal yang ringan. Dan ini biarlah proses undang-undang, tapi saya juga beritahu supaya janganlah nampak kita agak bertindak lebih-lebihan hanya semata-mata kerana tuntutan. Dia kena ikut proses undang-undang.
The Prime Minister was speaking to Malaysian media in Bangkok at the end of his two-day working visit to Thailand. The controversy arose earlier this week when the front page of Chinese language daily Sinchu Daily featured an incomplete image of the Malaysian flag in its coverage of Chinese President Xi Jinping's state visit to Malaysia. The publication has since issued an apology describing the incident as an unintentional technical error. On Thursday, police recorded statements from the newspaper's editor-in-chief and deputy chief sub-editor. Both individuals have been suspended from duty pending the outcome of the investigation. In addition, the newspaper has also been issued a show-cause letter by the Home Ministry. Meanwhile, Deputy Inspector General of Police Datuk Seri Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said more individuals will be called in to assist in case investigations.
Setakat ni siasatan masih lagi berjalan. Dah ada 40 report polis dibuat. Dan kita telah pun memanggil saksi seramai 42 orang saksi. So itu perkembangan terkini.
On a separate matter, Myanmar is committed to extending its ceasefire to facilitate the continued delivery of humanitarian aid following last month's devastating earthquake. The assurance was given to Anwar during separate meetings with key Myanmar stakeholders. As part of his two-day working visit to Thailand, the Prime Minister held talks in Bangkok with Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, the chairman of Myanmar's State Administration Council, on Thursday. Before departing for Malaysia on Friday, Anwar also held a virtual meeting with Man Win Kaing Tan, the leader of Myanmar's National Unity Government. Both leaders expressed their commitment to maintaining the ceasefire and ensuring the safety of humanitarian workers in the aftermath of the powerful earthquake on March 28.
Saya lihat ada kecenderungan sekarang untuk meneruskan gencatan senjata kerana itu juga prasyarat untuk semua bantuan kemanusiaan. Ya. Tetapi mereka sebutlah satu dua peristiwa di mana meletupan itu berlaku dan sebagainya. Dan kita harap dapat ditangani dengan baik. Apakah ada pertemuan? Kemungkinan besar memang kita akan teruskan perundingan ini.
The Prime Minister also conveyed ASEAN's readiness to support efforts in ensuring humanitarian aid reaches all affected areas, regardless of political alignment or geographical location.
ASEAN is ready to facilitate that arrangement to engage with friends in Myanmar. So my initial exchange with both the SAC Prime Minister and NUG has been very successful.
The 7.7 magnitude earthquake has so far claimed more than 3,000 lives and injured over 5,000 people. Several countries, including Malaysia, have since deployed humanitarian missions to assist with recovery efforts. Anwar concluded his working visit to Thailand on Friday at the invitation of his Thai counterpart, Patong Tan Shinawat. Separately, Anwar, speaking as ASEAN chair, reiterated the bloc's strong and unified stance against any form of unilateral tariffs. He said such measures go against the principles of free trade and multilateral cooperation that ASEAN has long championed across the region. The issue was among the key topics discussed during his meeting with Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra on Thursday.
ASEAN is for free trade, for multilateralism. So we take a position that we do not agree with any unilateral imposition and tariff which runs contrary to the spirit of multilateral arrangements.
He added that ASEAN's finance and economic ministers have already begun early coordination in Kuala Lumpur to address the challenges posed by new tariff threats from Washington. On April 3rd, the Trump administration announced minimum reciprocal tariffs of 10% on imports from all countries. Malaysia was slapped with a 24% tariff, Thailand with 36%, and Indonesia 32%. These tariffs have been temporarily suspended for 90 days, except for China, which remains subject to the full enforcement. Meanwhile, in Kuala Lumpur, Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said Malaysia will continue to focus on producing high-quality palm-based products despite looming tariff challenges from the United States. He stressed that the US is not Malaysia's sole export destination and that the global market offers other opportunities.
But having said that, dia US saja is not the only market, because kalau kita dapat preference ke US market, but capacity yang kosong untuk negara-negara pengeluar ni akan pergi kepada non-US market. So we also cannot see and then cannot say that we will benefit everything. So you need to also to see both world, US and non-US market. So what we need to do is that forget about the tariff. What we need to do is that we need to continue produce a quality commodities yang kita nak export ni. Yeah.
Johari added that demand for Malaysian palm oil in the US remains strong due to lack of viable alternatives in the global market. As of this year, Malaysia's exports to the US are estimated to have reached 21 billion ringgit, including nearly 5 billion ringgit from palm oil-related products. On another matter, Malaysia is set to launch the MSPO Impact Alliance, a new initiative aimed at strengthening the country's sustainable palm oil certification on the global stage. According to Johari, the platform will embrace innovative approaches and multi-stakeholder collaboration. He said the alliance, slated for launch in the third quarter of this year, will bring together strategic partnerships involving NGOs, financial institutions and tech partners, with strong backing from multinational corporations and consumer goods companies.
To perfect the system, you need a two-way communication. That means buyers and also the producers. So they give the feedback. And then part of the feedback they give in it is also an additional standard improvement that we were going to introduce to the system, because kita punya MSPO ni audit not by us, audit by international auditor.
Earlier, the minister witnessed the signing of a memorandum of understanding between MSPO and Nestlé Malaysia, marking a step forward in promoting responsible sourcing of palm oil.
I'm pleased to welcome Nestlé Malaysia as one of the founding members of this alliance. Today's MOU serves as a precursor to its official launch and a clear example of how global brands and national system can move forward together with purpose and shared accountability.
The MSPO Impact Alliance will also focus on practical solutions such as traceability for smallholders, while helping industry players navigate the European Union's deforestation regulations. Later in the day, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani have shared the view that government-linked investment companies, GLICs, should focus on building supply chains and generating employment as part of their social responsibility. Anwar said GLICs such as Khazanah Nasional Berhad and Permodalan Nasional Berhad, among others, should seriously consider this approach. The two shared the view that the social responsibility responsibility of GLICs might be better channeled towards areas such as strengthening the supply chain or nurturing top-tier talent. Anwar and Johari were speaking during the Higher Education Ministry's Ilmuwan Malaysia Madani Forum titled The Role of Government-Linked Investment Companies in Transforming Corporations, Balancing Profit and Social Responsibility to Spark a Creative Nation in Petaling Jaya on Friday night. The forum also featured Khazanah Nasional Managing Director Dato' Amirul Faisal Wan Zahir and Khazanah Research Institute Chairman Dr. Nungsari Ahmad Radi. The Sultan of Pahang, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, has called for a definitive end to the long-standing crisis of illegal land encroachment in the state. In line with the state government's recent decision, Al-Sultan Abdullah firmly declared that no new approvals would be granted for any land applications involving illegally occupied areas. In his royal address at the opening of the 4th session of the 15th Pahang State Assembly, Al-Sultan Abdullah expressed disappointment that more than 14,000 hectares of state government-owned land had been unlawfully occupied and cultivated with palm oil, rubber, durian and other crops. More concerning was the fact that almost 6,000 hectares of permanent forest reserve land had also been encroached upon. Al-Sultan Abdullah said such actions are not only shameful but also undermine the sovereignty of state governance.
Tindakan sedemikian bukan saja mencemarkan imej institusi, bahkan boleh menjejaskan kedaulatan pentadbiran negeri. Janganlah kerana kepentingan politik sempit, hukum diketepikan dan perbuatan yang salah dimuliakan.
Sultan Abdullah called for firm, sustainable, fair and comprehensive measures to put an end to the issue. Barisan Nasional BN will focus its campaign efforts on undecided voters or fence-sitters, particularly among youths and first-time voters, as the Air Kuning by-election heats up. BN Deputy Chairman Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan said the party is adopting a targeted approach through dialogue and direct engagement to clarify key issues.
Kita mesti menerangkan isu. Kita tidak boleh buat tak faham saja isu yang dimainkan, kita mesti terangkan, ya. Dan kita mahu supaya anak-anak muda ini diberikan penerangan, mereka yang first time voters ni ramai, ya.
He said this during a visit to the party's operations centre in Batu Tiga. Muhammad added that each polling district centre has been assigned specific key performance indicators to ensure that campaign operations are carried out efficiently and effectively. The Air Kuning by-election is shaping up to be a three-way contest, with Perikatan Nasional fielding Abdul Muhaimin Malik and Parti Sosialis Malaysia represented by Bawani Kaniapan. Malaysia's gross domestic product expanded by 4.4% in the first quarter of 2025. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, the positive growth was driven by a resilient domestic economic foundation despite ongoing external challenges. In a statement on Friday, Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Muhammad Uzir Mahidin said domestic and external factors have helped to cushion the economic impact, supporting overall growth. In addition, the Chinese New Year and Hari Raya celebrations, along with the reopening of schools, have also spurred economic activity. All economic sectors recorded an increase, with services and manufacturing rising by over 4%, driven by export-oriented industries. Construction also surged by 14.5%, while agriculture saw a slight increase in the first 3 months of 2025. The labour market remains strong, with continuous growth in employment and a stable unemployment rate of 3.1%. The government has been urged to help reduce the United States' 24% import duty on Malaysian goods. According to the Malaysian Plastics Manufacturers Association's MPMA, the move has forced forced many importers to reassess their costs in order to manage the impact of the new tariff. Its president, Cici Chia, said the industry has called on the government to consider lowering the 10% import tariff of American plastic resins to between 0 and 3% in order to help balance trade between the two countries. He added that exporters are seeing a surge in orders and shipments as businesses rush to complete deliveries during the 90-day pause before the tariff takes effect.
Navigating shifting markets. How prepared is the takaful industry? Can strategic focus drive growth in a rapidly evolving sector? How is Takaful Malaysia positioning itself for what's next? Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah speaks with Takaful Malaysia Group Chief Executive Officer Nur Azman Zainal. Only on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Indonesia on Friday said it will boost oil and gas imports from the US as part of a deal to ease stiff tariffs threatened by Washington. The country's chief economic minister said Indonesia will increase the purchase of energy from the US, including LPG, crude oil and gasoline. The minister added that the country also plans to keep buying agricultural products from the US, such as wheat, soya beans and soya bean milk. The 32% US tariffs imposed on Indonesia are among Asia's highest. However, like most other countries, it was allowed a 90-day pause to allow time for negotiations. Nearly 14 million ringgit worth of drugs seized. This and more from the local front after this breather.
Kalau kita sama-sama, tak ada siapa berani hadap kita.
Aku, Gas.
Habis suruh aku apa?
Kita nak pop, pop, pop. Meriah satu kampung pop, pop, pop. Kita kasih Rio sampai besok. Kasih pop, pop. Raya pop, pop.
Kuih Raya Aneka Rasa. Surat cerita Rama meriah suasana. Cinta sesungguhnya.
Awak ni sama macam lukisan-lukisan awak.
Cuba awak jangan pandang pada kekecewaan.
Sakana.
Abang, tolong nenek tu datang balik, bang.
Kau guna bomoh sebab kau cemburu.
Derai.
Dia dekat dengan aku.
Kenapa? Kenapa apa?
Kau jangan sampai aku jerit dekat sini.
Indahkan memori Syawal di Cerita Rama TV3 setiap Sabtu 10 malam dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Top 5 Carta Muzik 40 minggu ini.
Obesiti bukan sekadar isu penampilan.
Masa tidur tu, laluan pernafasan sempit. Jadi menyebabkan oksigen rendah dan boleh kadang-kadang boleh menyebabkan kematian.
Malah, ia membuka pintu kepada pelbagai penyakit.
Saya problem tulang belakang, problem lutut. So, saya terpaksa turunkan berat badan saya sebab saya pernah lumpuh dulu 3 bulan.
Obesiti, gaya hidup atau genetik? Kami bincangkan dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Saat takbir bergema, ada yang patah remuk hatinya.
Lepaskan aku tak salah! Kamu saya!
Ibu nak puasa raya ayah dengan kita.
Ada yang rasa nak patah balik.
Rasa sekarang sejuk ni.
Dan ada yang tak nak patah hati lagi.
Aku dah jatuh cinta dengan awet ni.
Kau plan lah. Pusing satu taman ni nak cari awet tu tak?
Indahkan memori Syawal di Cerita Ahad TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Biji getah ni kalau musim dia jatuh tu, ramai-ramai orang kampung akan pergi cari sebab nak buat asam rom. Sekarang gulai rom ni dah jadi macam makanan yang rare, eksotik.
Memang seronok lah. Masa kecil-kecil tak ada permainan lain dah. Tak ada benda lain, goli tak ada masa tu.
Lidah ni dia ada satu keseronokan tersendiri. Betul-betul orang minat boleh merasai dia punya kepuasan dia. Kita dapat hit target, kita dapat kena sasaran. Capai satu saat kepuasan yang susah nak huraikan dengan kata bicara lah.
Welcome back. Beginning May 1st, the government will launch Op Gasa, a special enforcement operation aimed at curbing leakages and smuggling. The move comes in light of mounting concerns over misuse of subsidized goods, with cooking gas alone accounting for an estimated 3 billion ringgit in government subsidies each year.
Dia pindahkan daripada tong yang telah ditetapkan untuk penjualan subsidi itu kepada tong yang untuk penjualan industri. Jadi itu berlaku dan dia bukan hanya industri dalam negara, ada juga berlaku penyeludupan berentasi sempadan. Jadi kita perlu kekang isu ini daripada berterusan.
Op Gasa will involve a coordinated effort among several enforcement agencies, including the police, customs authorities and the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. Police have confirmed the discovery of an underground gas pipe which exploded in the incident at Putra Heights, Subang Jaya on April 1st. Selangor Police Chief Dato' Hussein Omar Khan said a task force is currently conducting an analysis and that a preliminary investigation report is expected to be released next week.
Daripada pihak polis, siasatan masih berjalan lah dari segi kecuaian ataupun khianat. Dan satu lagi siasatan by pihak DOSH masih berjalan jugalah, JKKP. Jadi kita tunggu dalam seminggu lagi kita akan keluarkan laporan awal lah.
Hussein said this during a press conference at the Bandar Country Homes Police Station in Rawang on Friday. On April 1st, one of 3 natural gas pipelines exploded, igniting a massive fire at around 8:10 a.m. Flames were reportedly seen shooting over 30 meters into the air, with temperatures soaring to 1,000 degrees Celsius. A total of 111 individuals required medical treatment for burns and respiratory issues. The blaze also destroyed 81 homes, partially damaged another 81, and affected 57 more. Police seized 279 kilograms of drugs worth 13.6 million ringgit in a raid on a terrace house in Kuala Lumpur last Monday. During the operation, 2 local men believed to be the storekeepers and distributors of the drugs were arrested. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department NCID Acting Director Deputy Commissioner Mat Zani Muhammad Salahuddin Che Ali said the raid was carried out following 2 months of surveillance and intelligence gathering.
Kita tangkap ini adalah storekeeper ataupun runner. Jadi dia menerima arahan daripada somebody yang sedang kita identify. Kerana seperti yang lepas, mereka menggunakan aplikasi untuk berkomunikasi iaitu WeChat. Jadi kita sedang membuat risikan terhadap mastermind ini. Kita percaya mastermind ini berada di negara Thailand.
The suspects, aged 42 and 43, were held at a coffee shop in Bandar Baru Sri Petaling at around 5:30 p.m. They later led officers to a rented house nearby where police seized 210 packets of ketamine, 55 packets of methamphetamines and 4 packets of ecstasy pills. The drugs are believed to have originated from a country in the north and were smuggled in by sea before being transported to the Klang Valley. Initial investigation suggested the pair were part of a cross-border drug distribution network headed by an unidentified kingpin in Thailand. One of the suspects tested positive for drugs and had a prior record involving 17 criminal offences.
operasi mencabar menyelamat mangsa gempa bumi Myanmar.
Mangsa-mangsa yang kita jumpa ni semuanya yang tidak boleh dikeluarkan penyelamat tempatan.
Misi penuh air mata, wiranegara di tanah bergolak.
Pasukan biasa tak boleh buat apa yang pasukan semat buat.
Saksikan podcast utama 19 April 10 pagi di seluruh platform media sosial Buletin TV3.
US man shot dead after hijacking small plane. The details when Nightline returns.
Kita nak pop, 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 meriah satu kampung pop, pop, pop. Kita kasih Rio sampai besok. Kasih pop, pop, raya pop, pop.
Macam nak tengok video penuh? Saksikan video muzik Raya Pop Pop ditonton. Pop Pop. Hai Pop.
Aku bekerja dengan company. Company nak aku jaga kampung ni. Selamat datang ke kampung Ketayang. Ada hukum batas.
Awak ni trikal tu?
Dialah satu-satunya harapan kita sekarang.
Company akan ambil alih perniagaan biji timah.
Dia nak suruh kami semua lawan askar Belanda tu?
Bukan askar Belanda, tapi 6 jilaka.
Macam nak tengok video penuh? Saksikan video muzik Raya Pop Pop ditonton. Pop Pop. Hai Pop.
Cerita pilihan Syawal ini, jahitan kasih yang tersimpan dalam gerubuk raya.
Kerangka tulang itu adalah milik Fatihah.
Anyaman rindu ketupat terakhir.
Balik cepat sikit. Boleh kita menanyam ketupat sama-sama.
Hanyut dalam kesibukan sehingga alpa akan Syawal yang kuinginkan.
Hello Wan, apa lagi ni?
Inilah kad yang awak bagi saya dulu tu.
Di cerita pilihan TV3 setiap Sabtu 2 petang dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Top 5 Carta Muzik 40 minggu ini.
Bersama kita menghidupkan tradisi, mengangkat seni dan menyingkap kisah luar biasa yang menyentuh jiwa.
Sepanjang 30 tahun ni, jalanan saya sangat indah. Saya tidak perlu lagi bersaing dengan anak-anak muda. Saya lebih kepada memberi semula kepada masyarakat.
Saya nak buat 7 climb. Orang yang tak tahu kita nak pergi Everest, dia akan beranggapan benda tu memang mustahil dibuat lah kan. Yang penting diri kita. There is nothing in this world yang impossible.
Sedih lah. Saya nak anak jadi macam tu. Sebab anak-anak semua ni semua yang normal. Anak ketiga dapat anak yang istimewa.
Nak tak nak, kita terima lah. Mungkin ini ada kesilapan kita yang di masa lalu. Mungkin kita boleh tebus balik dengan macam ni. Keadaan ideal.
We're back with news on the foreign front. An American man has been shot dead after hijacking a small passenger plane and injuring 2 people on a flight in the Caribbean nation of Belize. 14 passengers were on board the aircraft at 8:30 a.m. local time on Thursday when the hijacker took control of the flight at knife point. 2 passengers were injured, including one who was stabbed in the back. According to authorities, the hijacker ordered the pilot to take him out of the country, but was then shot in the chest by another passenger. The hijacker's motives are still unclear, but the U.S. Embassy in Belize has been tapped to help police investigate the incident. Details of the incident remain sparse. However, authorities said passengers narrowly escaped a more serious tragedy as the aircraft ran out of fuel as it landed. Airstrikes by the United States on Yemen's Ras Isa oil port have killed at least 58 people in what is one of the deadliest attacks on the country by US forces. According to local media, the strikes on Thursday also wounded 126 people and hit several different areas, but were mostly concentrated around the port facility. The attack has now drawn widespread condemnation across Yemen due to the civilian deaths and the strategic importance of Ras Isa. About 70% of Yemen's imports and 80% of its humanitarian assistance pass through the ports of Ras Isa, Hodeidah and As-Salif. The US Central Command, however, said the airstrikes were intended to cut off the Houthis' source of fuel and revenue. Switching to sports now, football, the Saudi Pro League. Al Fateh delivered a major upset in the title race on Thursday, defeating league leaders Al Ittihad 2-0 to inject fresh hope into Al Hilal's championship bid. Amin Sbai put Al Fateh ahead 10 minutes into the game, capitalizing on a shaky defensive moment from the visitors. Al Ittihad struggled to find the rhythm and were left frustrated throughout, despite several efforts from striker Karim Benzema, who was denied repeatedly by Fateh's organised backline and goalkeeper. The hosts then doubled their lead midway through the second half when Matias Vargas calmly scored in the 69th minute, securing Fateh's most important victory of the season. The result leaves Al Ittihad on 65 points, just 4 ahead of second-placed Al Hilal, with 6 rounds remaining in the season. Turning to tennis, the 2025 Stuttgart Open. Coco Gauff sailed past Ella Seidel in straight sets to reach the quarterfinals on Thursday in Stuttgart, Germany. Fourth-seeded Gauff won 6-1, 6-1, eliminating the homester in 57 minutes. The American rebounded from her straight sets exit in the last 16 at the Miami Open, hitting 2 aces and breaking her opponent 5 times en route to a dominant victory. Gauff will next meet Italian 5th seed Jasmine Paolini for a place in the semi-finals. Earlier, Jessica Pegula cruised into the quarterfinals with a 6-1, 6-1 victory over Magdalena Freck. The 31-year-old who won the Charleston Open title this month needed just 59 minutes to oust her Polish opponent. The third-seeded American will take on Ekaterina Alexandrova in a rematch of that Charleston semi-final. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as more than 100,000 tulip bulbs burst into colour at the annual Tulip Festival in England's Hampton Court. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching and stay safe.